So I love that everybody shared that, and really interesting differences. So we had some business, we had some personal, that some goals had changed, and that's what happens in business. Our goals change. If your goals are looking the same on December 31st as they did on January 1st, there's probably something wrong in there, because the economy changes, the environment changes, your personal life changes, and your business life changes. So I heard an accomplishment was surviving. And that is okay. That's actually great, because sometimes it's all we can do, right? And then, you were talking about it originally, taking a vacation. The bottom line is that we are whole people. We come at things as whole people. And we try and compartmentalize, and you can to some extent, but it's really important that your business life and your personal life are working together. So, who here thinks that this year has gone by too quickly? Like, how are we in the middle of September already? So kids are back to school, state fair is over. I saw the Indigo Girls and Melissa Etheridge at the state fair. That was my highlight of the last of the summer. And so, here we are, September 15th. Do you know that there is less than 15 weeks until Christmas? Well, you can blame me if it snows early, because I'll tell you why. So it's a double-edged sword for me. So on the one side, which I love, is that I love Christmas. On December 31st, when all the Halloweeners go away, of October, we decorate for Christmas. So by November 1st, Perry household is all decked out. And this started when I worked at Target, and they used to have something called the reindeer run. And we would go into the stores and we would flip the stores from Halloween to Christmas. So I just decided to take that on in our house. So it's been great. And then the flip side of that is that those 13 weeks in Q4 go by like that. I mean, all this, you're starting October 1st, and all of a sudden you're sitting at December 1st wondering where the time has gone. So I'm going to ask us to reconsider Q4. So when does Q4 normally start? October 1st through December 31st, right? What if we changed that? And what if we pulled it up into September? So here's what I am talking about. I'm talking about starting Q4 next Monday. Who's ready to do that? Some are, some aren't. We're going to get you ready to do that if you're not. Okay, so what we're going to do is, the bottom line is, if you start now and really work on your Q4 goals, you're going to get to December 31st ready to start 2026 really strong. Has anybody ever ended the year in not such a great place and then tried to rally in January? Some people are really good at it. Others of us, I'm including me, it's really hard to rally, to come off a really hard year and then go into a year that you think is going to be great. How am I going to do it? What am I going to do differently? So what I'm asking is that we change our weeks. And to do this, I want you to play a little game with me, if you would. You've got a piece of paper in front of you, a blank piece of paper. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to introduce two different timelines. And in reality, these two different timelines live next to each other. And you have a choice which one you are going to go with. The first one, so close your eyes, and it's December 31st, okay? You have put all your efforts into Q4. Q4 is ending strong. You're confident, you're energized going into 2026, and you're sure your 2026 is going to be your best year ever. So open your eyes and write down 2 words about how that made you feel. How would you feel on December 31st if that's what happened? Okay. Second timeline, like I said, they're sitting right next to each other. Which door you enter is which door you're going to live in for Q4. Close your eyes again, and you're frustrated. You're exhausted. You're doubting yourself. You had hoped that Q4 was going to be strong, and it just has not worked out. Open your eyes and jot down 2 words about how you feel there. Okay, who wants to share their words?
Excited and relieved, timeline 1.
And how about the second one?
Stressed and haven't gotten the second one yet, but probably stressed.
Okay, so which one do you choose?
Oh, I'm timeline 1.
Did you?
Yeah, did you want more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, motivated and excited for the first one, and the second one, defeated and sad.
Unless you are a superstar in your business 24/7, the entire time you've been in your business, we have all been in timeline 2, right? I don't want to go there again. So I'm choosing 1. And if, oh geez, this, let me get rid of this. The first timeline is your maximizing timeline, and your second timeline is your hope timeline. What is the famous quote about hope?
It's not a strategy.
Absolutely. Hope is not a strategy. You can hope that Q4 turns out the way you want it. And sometimes it works. Most of the time, it doesn't work. My recommendation is that you go with 1. And Kim said it, how you end 25 is how you will begin 26. Okay, so that's something that we're going to say about 10 times before the end. When I first heard that, I was like, that's not true. And then I started going through my years when I had really successful years, and I had ended the year prior really strong. That is what I want for you. So now that you have an idea of what we're going to do, some of you I know well, some of you I don't know. I'm going to go through my introduction. So I'm Trish Perry. I am in the breakfast connection, coffee connection. And I've been with Kim for 3 years, I think. I started in 22, I think. It feels like it, no. I am an executive and a career coach. I spent 25 of my years of my career in corporate. 20 of those were in Target. And then I opened my business, Harmonized Coaching. And so I help executives and leaders who have hit a wall. They're smart, they're successful on the surface, and they know something has to change. So they think, really, this is it? This is all? And so I help them to find out what they really want. And sometimes it's within the same company that they're working at. It's just pivoting their job a little bit. Sometimes it's a whole new job. Sometimes it's retirement. It just depends on the client. And I help them to go from what they really want to creating a plan so that they can execute it and finally feel like this is my purpose. I am living to my purpose. I got into coaching. The reason that I do coaching is because I lived it. I was an executive at Target for 20 years. I got laid off in 2009. When you're somewhere for 20 years, that becomes your identity. And I didn't realize how much it had. I went to work for another company, hated it, but I was a corporate citizen, and so I just kept on. And in 2012, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. took 6 weeks off, had a double mastectomy, and I came back to work, and my boss said to me, must have been really nice to have 6 weeks off and do nothing but watch TV and read books. So what did I want to say? Asshole. What I said was, oh, it's really nice to be back, and then went back to my office. 2 weeks later, I got a call. My father is in emergency brain surgery at 91 years old. So I went and helped nurse him back to health. January, I was having my second surgery. 5 days before my second surgery, I got a call that one of my sisters had stage 4 cancer and was in emergency surgery. I quit my job, had my surgery, went to be with her, and she died 7 weeks later. The reason I tell you that story is because that's what I do. That's why I do what I do today. Because I was that person who hit every benchmark and it still wasn't enough. I was that person who put their all into it and was never fulfilled. Who woke up at 2 a.m. saying, really, this is all there is? That's why I do what I do. I not only do that, but my husband and I celebrated our 35th wedding anniversary in August. I have 3 wonderful adult children and 2 toddlers. Those toddlers happen to be 110 pounds and 100 pounds, and they happen to be Newfoundlands. In case you know what that dog is, they look like bears. I am a friend, I'm a daughter, I am an advocate, and I'm a live music junkie. So I just told you about Indigo Girls and Melissa Etheridge. We have seen 10 bands this year. We have 4 more to go this year. My claim to fame was in 2019, I saw 50 bands. So when I tell you I love live music, I don't just go to 2 concerts a year. Okay, with that, let me give you an example of doing what we were just talking about and to go from stuck to thriving. I have had, should say, because he has moved on, which is great, a client, his name was Daniel, and he was a really high achieving senior director at a very large organization. And he had outstanding reviews all 10 years he was there. And then his boss changed. So tell me how you go from 10 years of being outstanding to 6 months being an idiot, because that's what happened to him. So his boss came in, didn't like the business they were doing. He wanted it to go back to another place. And so he was constantly criticizing him. Literally, the sky is blue. His boss would say, no, it's not, it's gray, it's raining out today. How can you say it's blue? Well, okay, maybe when it's not raining. It didn't matter what he said, it was always wrong. So it got so bad that this was when he called me in July. So he had taken I think 6 weeks leave from work because he was so stressed and it was taking a toll on him mentally. So when I started working with him, we set a maximizing goal. When you hit December, what will make you feel great? I'll have a new job. Okay, we're now sitting in July. By the time we get everything together, probably talking about September before you start interviewing. Are you going to be able to get a job as a senior director? No, it will take probably 4 to 5 months. Okay, so what will that goal be then? It will be that I've made progress in getting a new job. What kind of atmosphere do you want to work in? A non-toxic one, because he had been from a very toxic one. The bottom line is that he ended 2024 really strong. And by Q1, he landed a new job at a great organization that has a wonderful culture, and he's making 40% more with more responsibility. That's what can happen, and that's what I want to unlock for y'all in looking at Q4. How you end 2025 is how you'll begin 2026. this is the time that you get to put together an impact goal. So the first thing to look at is the words that you have written down. So those top 2 words from maximizing. The second thing is think about the accomplishment that you have had as of today. All of y'all's faces lit up when you started talking about your win. So keep that in mind. And then what we want to do is, what is one accomplishment that would set your business up for success in 2026? What's that one thing that you really want to achieve by the end of 2025?